Women in the workplace. This video was a Patreon request by my man Strawberry Shogun. He donated $20 on Patreon and requested this topic for this video. So let's just get right into it, right? So women in the workplace, I feel like there's already been a ton of videos on this by other MGTOW guys. But I guess I'll just give my own little life experiences, to kind of, make it a little different and hopefully put a new twist on it, right? So, women in the workplace, throughout my job experiences or whatever, my experience with women in the workplace has always been, some of them have been hard workers, I'm not gonna lie, but the majority of them really weren't. And the thing is, what really annoyed me the most about them is just that sexual tension in the office. I found it to be very counterproductive, because they would purposely wear skimpy outfits to work and do little stuff to get attention, the same way they would from a simp or a boyfriend or something. They'll still try to get attention from guys at the office too. And I just found that to be extremely annoying, because it's like, look, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to go through shit tests and mind games for a chick I'm not even trying to date. So, like I said, they'd wear skimpy outfits to the office, and, on top of that, they would engage in flirty behavior and then maybe be distant and then be flirty again and, manipulate the guys at the office and stuff like that, which would be really annoying because most of the guys at the office are blue pill. So they always fall for the manipulation that these women do, right? So, you have a new girl come into the office, and you can tell from day one her agenda is to manipulate the guys there and get them all on her side and turn them against each other. And they always, for the most part, they succeed at this. That's the tragedy. That's why I kind of just keep my distance at work, if I'm around, with female coworkers, because they've already got all the other guys on their side. That's the first thing they do when they get there. They act very, flirty and supportive to the blue pill guys to get them to serve her, and then if there's any red pill guys that voice their opinion, like I used to voice my opinion in the past, she will turn that army of guys against me. So that can get extremely annoying. And it's just like, I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be I don't want to spend my entire life in an environment like that around these blue pill men. That's what motivates me to be such an entrepreneur, is I don't want to always have to be in a situation where I'm compromising my values and my morals and, hiding my true identity simply because these women know how to manipulate these men and get them to do their every whim. When I was at the corporate job, the women would always, I'm having trouble with this. I don't know how to do this. Can you do this for me? Can you help me set up the printer? Can you help me? And I would purposely always disappear when women would ask me for help, so that, because I know another blue pill guy will do it. Why do I have to do it? I know one of them will do it anyway. So that's what I would do to kind of keep my distance from them. Another thing about them is a lot of these women in the office, they act as like the company snitch. So you never want to tell them too much, really any personal information about yourself, because the middle managers like to use the female employees as like spies to gather intel on what the men are doing. So like I had a caller call into my show a few nights ago. This black dude who was working in a warehouse, and he was telling me how he told one of his female coworkers that he was kind of cool with, I don't really plan on staying at this job too long. I want to go work somewhere else later, And so what she did, she went and told the manager, like, look, this dude isn't really committed to the job. He just wants to be here for a little bit, then go somewhere else. So the manager decides, I'm going to treat this guy so bad that he quits the job. So he probably treated him so bad to make the other guy quit, which he did. That way he didn't have to pay him like severance or unemployment or any of that, stuff. So this boss made the job hell for the guy, because the guy told this woman, I don't plan on staying here so long. The manager took it personally and started treating him horribly and making his life difficult, So that's why you never want to tell your female coworkers anything. And you don't want to tell your male coworkers anything either, because most of them are pretty bitch made too. but especially not your female coworkers. They gossip and they tell their bosses everything because they want to kiss ass and get promotions and, manipulate their way to the top. They think they're going to make it to the top one day, which they're not. These women are pretty dumb too. They think by kissing ass and snitching that one day they're going to have like their manager's job, and they're most likely not going to. But that's how that's how women manipulate in the office. Um, Another thing about office women is they're very mediocre looking, but when you're around nothing but those mediocre women all day, you start to view them as more attractive than they really are, So you have fives and sixes at the office who are getting the praise that a 9 or a 10 would get, simply because they're the only women at the office. So it's an environment where really ugly women get to feel really good about themselves, and I just think that's pathetic, I remember I'd be at my office job, and some of the fives and sixes there would be like trying to flirt, like trying to get me to chase them, like, "Oh, Karama, hey, how you doing?" Because all the other guys chase them, and in my head, I'm like, "Bitch, I'm banging women that are like sevens and eights on Tinder and stuff like that. Like, I don't need to chase your little ugly ass. Like, you're like a 4 or a 5." Like I had a girl who was like a 5. Me and her were talking, just casual conversation, and this is back when I thought like I could be friends with women, right? So I'm like, "Hey, why don't you add me on Snapchat?" This is back when I had Snapchat. And she was like, "I don't give out my personal information to coworkers." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, deuces, bitch." And I like walked away. And I'm thinking in my head like, this bitch probably thinks I'm lusting after her. And she has no idea I'm banging women way hotter than her after work. Like these women in the office, because they're the only women there, they start to think they're so like freaking special, because a bunch of beta male losers are blowing their heads up, and it's like this girl has no idea how little I care. It's just really sad how like devalued men in the office are. I don't even have to go into the whole sexual harassment, false accusation, whatever stuff that happens at the office these days, with the Me Too stuff and all of that. I feel like you guys already have a pretty good understanding of that. But basically, to cut things short, I think it's counterproductive for men and women to be working together. I think the sexual tension just kills productivity and adds a lot of burdens and stress on the men, and a lot of these men are already having trouble with women anyway. So to have them working around women is just extra stress, because these women, they go home and they get banged by their boyfriends and stuff, so they don't have that sexual tension building up all the time. But a lot of these guys at the office, they're already kind of struggling with women, and they have to deal with these women in the office always flirting with them and wearing skimpy outfits and trying to get attention. And that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot more added pressure for a man to be under, Like, life is hard enough without getting cock teased at your job. You know what I'm saying? So that's another stressful part for a lot of guys out there. It's just, I don't know, man. It just seems like everything is just, in this society, is just made to put more and more pressure on men. It's just like everything is just a bitch for us. And these women know it. These women know these guys are sexually frustrated, and they get off on flaunting their stuff in their faces. Like, dude, I went to a job interview a little while ago, and the girl who was interviewing me was wearing like, what is it, like a mini skirt or something, like you would wear to a nightclub. Like, she was dressed like she was going to the club. She was wearing like a tight full body like dress or skirt or whatever that barely goes past her, like barely, doesn't even, it's like so short, man. It's like a couple inches above from her fucking snatch, like straight up, like it's like barely past her fucking pussy. Like the fucking dress is barely covering anything. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck are you employed? Like, how are you? How do you get away with showing up to work like this? Like, me as a guy, that's like me showing up in a tank top or like a bathing suit or something. Like, I would be fired immediately. But in the office, there's this double standard where the women can dress like total skanks, and the male managers let them get away with it because they don't want to get like a sexual harassment or I don't know, discrimination charge or something like that. So they let these women dress like whores and cock tease all the guys at the office, and they get away with it. It's just a sick, warped society. So, that's, I appreciate the donation from Strawberry Shogun. That's just the best advice I can give on women in the workplace, is just avoid them, be agreeable. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, nice. That's a cool story. Just agree with whatever they say. Ignore them. Be this nonchalant, distant guy who's, kind of friendly but not too friendly. and just keep your distance. And they'll be so distracted with their army of blue pill men always fangirling over them, they won't really notice too much that you're not paying them so much attention. So you can kind of just fly under the radar, handle your business, and go home. And that's really just the best advice I would give. Definitely keep your distance and just stick to your mind. Mind your business. So, anyways, I appreciate the $20 donation from my man Strawberry Shogun. If anyone else wants a custom video on any MGTOW topic they want, click the link below. Shoot me a message on Patreon, and I'll get that video uploaded for you as soon as possible. All right, take it easy, guys.